Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Sunday, guys. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Sunday, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Want to speak to you guys about a few downloads. Want to speak in regards to God may be waiting on you. God may be waiting on you. And I also want to speak to those of you who are in very, very, very difficult seasons. I don't know, maybe among some other things. I'll see where it goes. Let's start there. Let's start with those of you who are in very difficult seasons. Now, here's the thing. If we're going to grow and if we're going to really try to evolve, we have to be honest and we have to be transparent with ourselves, right? We have to take accountability. It's the only way that we will learn and we will grow. Sometimes we end up in very, very difficult seasons because of our own actions. We can try to sweep it under the rug all we want. We can try to blame it on everybody else and say that they're the problem, they're the problem, they're the problem. But the truth of the matter is God knows who's truly the problem. So there are times when we end up in seasons where we are experiencing the wrath of God. And sometimes it's because of our own actions. And ultimately what God is trying to do is he's trying to get you stationary so he can really work on your character, help to transform you if you submit to that process. If you refuse to submit to the process, meaning you don't think that there's anything wrong, you're in denial, then there's a great chance you're going to sit in that season longer than you have to. But if you submit and you surrender to whatever it is that he's trying to do in your life, then potentially that season will end for you. But right now, I'm not speaking in regards to the people who are dealing with the wrath of God. I'm speaking about people who've truly been doing everything that you know how to do, and you feel truly that you've been moving in regards to the direction in which God have wanted you to move. You feel like you've been putting obedience over emotions. Doesn't mean you're perfect. Doesn't even mean you get it right all the time. But you really, really are truly trying your best. But it seems like you've entered the worst season of your life. Not only have you entered the worst season of your life, you feel stuck and stagnant. Like you don't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is a very, very dangerous time and a very, very dangerous season. And the enemy will actually use it to his advantage to pounce on top of your head when you're already going through everything. I know that depression have always existed, if you will. Well, maybe not like always, if you will. But when I see so many comments, not on my channel, but just like social media in general, I can't believe how many people are so full of despair that they feel like they no longer want to be here. Like you would randomly kind of hear about it every now and then about, different people kind of saying certain things. But now you can see someone make a comment like that. And then you will see thousands of people like the comment or thousands of people join in and people are feeling the same, like almost like, well, if I didn't have children, I would do this, that, and the third. I wouldn't want to be here. If I don't see no end in sight. Like, I just don't even want to be here anymore. Like you see it so frequently. And it's heart-wrenching. It's heart-wrenching because it's despair. It's hopelessness. It's like they can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. And don't get me wrong, right? We've all, or if you have not lived long enough and you will, we all have had those seasons where it gets dark and you can't see your way out. But then there's something in you, right? Which is the Holy Spirit is almost like just cheering you on. Like, listen, just push another day, push another day, push another day. And then you keep pushing and then eventually you see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the point is you feel like, even though you're full of despair, you feel like there's something you're working towards. Well, sadly, everyone don't feel that. It is so important to know that a lot of the times when those seasons shift from dark seasons to breakthrough, dark seasons to open doors, dark seasons to elevation, dark seasons to acceleration, restoration, it shifts overnight. It shifts overnight. But the enemy will have your mind so consumed, and because you can't see a physical direction or a physical blueprint to try to decipher, how is this going to even happen? How am I going to come out of this job loss? How am I going to make it through this divorce? My heart is broken. I don't have a job. They kicked the kids. Like, how am I supposed to come out of this grief? It's like you don't even have a tangible blueprint to see how the season can shift overnight from the darkest season to a season of joy. So because you can't see it, here goes the enemy. Now he's going to really, really pounce on you. He knows that you're isolated. He knows that you're depressed. He knows that you've potentially pushed everybody away. So now he's dropping all kind of foolishness within your head to make you think that there's no way out of this darkness. It's a lie from the pits of hell. If you feel like you have, because a lot of the times in those kind of seasons, you're so spiritually depleted that you don't even feel like praying. Let's keep it real. Let's be transparent and honest. You don't even feel like it. You feel so detached. And you want to remain in your shell. So it's not like you want to like reach out to your friends or your family and ask for people to pray for you. But this is key. But you know, God is so good. What he'll do is he'll put you in other people's spirit, and then the people will just randomly pray for you or reach out to you, right? This is why obedience is so important. Convictions are so important. But it's important to know that the season will change. Seasons in general changes. They can't stay the same. They can't stay the same. But if you give up this quickly, how would, okay, let's just say it's somebody going through like a divorce. And I mean, your heart is broken. I mean, you thought this person was, I mean, your whole entire life. They left you or whatever the case may be. Okay, if you decide to give up, how would you ever know that once you come out of this season and then enter a healing season or whatever this God needs to do with you, that you won't enter the best season of your life? Meaning the new person that you meet, you end up loving more than this one. It's more healthy. It's more peaceful. It's purpose aligned. But how would you ever even know that if you give up here? See, that's the way that the enemy will try to blind you. I don't care what anybody, including myself, I don't care what anybody posts on social media. I don't care the highlights that you may be seeing. I don't care if these individuals are in a great season. Life is no joke. It is extremely difficult. So when the enemy is trying to get you to compare your life to someone else, it's all a lie. Remember, seasons changes. They themselves may be in a very great season. Oh, but they came out of a season of hell. You currently may be in the season of hell, and then next month, next whenever, you're in this great season, and then you're looking at somebody else who's in a dark season, and then here you go, you can go back and love on, support, encourage them. It's a cycle. A lot of people feel so empty and so depleted now, also because, again, there's a spiritual awakening within a lot of people. And again, I'm not speaking anything new age, but God is truly removing a lot of the mask, the lies, the facade, the conditioning that many people have always thought. The key to life is go to school, hustle hard, hustle, whatever you do. Get married for some, have kids, retire at a certain age, sit on the rocking chair until you're such and such, until Jesus come and get you. And that's life. Everything is money, materialistic, this, that. This is the life. This is the life. Well, listen, you would have to be under a rock if you don't realize that whole foundation of lies has tumbled. Celebrities aren't even celebrities anymore. Really, it was never, but the point of the matter is the masks are being removed off of people's eyes. So because a lot of people have now put their value in things that we were conditioned to believe, and now that these things are tumbling, people don't have a sense of purpose and calling, which is the only thing that's going to fulfill you. A relationship with God and purpose and calling. That's the only thing that's going to fulfill you. It has always been that way. But now that these masks are being removed and these systems are tumbling, people don't even want to be married anymore, men or women. Of course, that's not everybody, but it's insanity. It's like people are, so now that these scales are being removed and people are realizing that people have lied and sold you this fairy tale of a dream, and you're marrying just because we had kids together. You're marrying just because he's rich. You're marrying just because she's fine. Never about the ministry of marriage, never about combining purpose and calling. And so because these masks are now being removed, people are feeling like, what am I to do with myself? I mean, who am I? The kids are now grown. The marriage fell apart. And I'm sitting here and it's just like, who am I? I feel empty. I feel lost. I feel depleted. Well, you are exactly where God wants you to be. Because now He have your attention. So if you are one out of many who've always struggled with identifying their purpose or their calling, and let's be clear here, purpose and calling is always evolving, right? So, I mean, it may start very subtle and then over time, but the point of the matter is, because the mask, the lies, and the conditioning is now removed, now you can truly hear the Holy Spirit. And don't think because it's something very small or very subtle that it can't be your purpose and your calling. Just start. So then we move on to, many times, God is just waiting on us. Many chosen people, myself included, are at a stance where we are finally, all caps, finally, in all caps, fully, key word here, fully surrendered. Meaning, we have finally, well, first of all, if we're going to be real, most of us were kind of forced into it, if you will, but whatever, we're not fighting against it is the key. But we finally taken our hands off of everything. Meaning we're no longer trying to control the narrative. We're no longer getting ahead of God, trying to figure it out, trying to beat doors down, trying to make this happen, trying to do, honey, we are fully surrendered. Again, many of us were pushed there, pushed for purpose. So it's fine, but we're not fighting against it. One of the downloads that God keeps downloading is full surrender and stay in the moment. This is key because a lot of chosen people sometimes have a hard time staying in the moment because a lot of us have all kind of different trauma triggers just from the life of a chosen, right? Just all that stuff that we've encountered. So it's hard for us to stay in the moment. Now we're great at staying in our head. Like we live in our head because let it be through being misunderstood, rejected, abandoned, this, that, and third. Like you had to figure things out in your head very early on. So we do very well here. The problem is those triggers can also have you wanting to always control the narrative where it allows you to feel safe. You don't have to depend on anybody, right? You don't have to worry about getting disappointed. You don't have to worry about this, that, and third. So you're trying to figure things out. You're creating that blueprint. You need to know how it's going to happen, right? God already told you it's going to happen, but you need to know how it's going to happen. And if you don't know that how, you're going to try to freak yourself out until you figure out the how. Well, we're not in the moment. So because we are now being required to stay in the moment, well, really, it should have always been that way, but because now we're being required to stay in the moment, you're feeling unsafe. You don't have those protector guards up. So you feel very vulnerable. You feel empty. You feel lost. And truth of the matter is really just trauma responses. Because if peace is the ultimate goal, then really stillness should feel like peace. But stillness doesn't feel like peace for a lot of the chosen people because, again, it's trauma responses and trauma triggers. So how's God waiting on you? How's God waiting on us? Because right now in this peaceful place that we're fully surrendered, now we can really hear without distractions. This is why if you hadn't been obedient to remove the distractions, he removed them for you. Even if your little feelings are hurt. So whoever, whatever, whenever was distracting you, he asked you to remove it. If you didn't, he allowed it to leave you. So now he's waiting on you. He's waiting on us. What did I ask you to do 6 months ago? When I gave you downloads, you wrote them down, but you got distracted. So you never even did. I asked you to go to therapy. I asked you to forgive that person. Keynote here, forgiveness doesn't mean re-enter all the time, right? Forgive, surrender, release, wish people well. I've asked you to have that conversation with that parent because maybe you'll find out some information from one side that you were lied to from the other side, but that's going to help to free you from the trauma. I told you go here. I told you don't go here. I told you to leave the narcissist, but I know you can't. So I gave you specific instructions to follow. You started the path. You allowed the narcissist to love bomb you and you're right back in. Now you're distracted all over again with manipulation tactics. I've asked you to remove all the spiritual attachments to that ex. I've told you to delete all the contacts, definitely the text message threads. In fact, just get a new phone because things hold energy. So you're asking me to bring you a God-ordained partner, a God-ordained spouse, but yet you still got these spiritual attachment. I'm waiting on you, but yet you're crying about waiting on me, but I'm really waiting on you. I can't give you pure things, God-ordained things, and you're still being attached to the things that was never even meant for you. Make it make sense. I'm not going to bless you when you have a demon next to you. I know you're the oldest child, or you were the responsible child, and you had to raise all the other siblings when your parent or parents were out trying to work or provide. Okay, so that's not your fault. But however, it caused you to be a people pleaser. So now these adults are now adults, but yet they're still depending on you. You're still a people pleaser. You still want to be in control of everything, because if you had to be in control of everything as a 10-year child, like you're running a house, then you're used to being in control. But that ain't going to work in these kind of seasons. Or maybe you're a person with anxious attachment styles or even avoidant attachment styles. Well, both are going to be very detrimental, because with anxious attachments, you're going to smother every single person that God brings to you. And the thing about it, when God bring it, with God ordained people, with people who are purpose driven, these people are busy. Like they're busy in purpose. So they may not be able to, and granted, it's more than likely it's not even your fault, right? It's maybe something from trauma, some type of rejection or abandonment issues. So this is the whole point. It's not your fault, but then this is why you're given instructions to be obedient. Start therapy, start this, start that. If you can't afford it, start watching YouTube videos. But instead, we want to keep, because again, healing hurts. So it's easier to mask with distraction. So what do? The person leave you because you're anxious. They're going to always leave you. Not always, but most people will. And because they leave you because of the anxiousness, you're smothering them, you're freaking them out, because then when they leave, it triggers that seed right back to childhood. Now, all this stuff is, and so rather than sit in that thing to hear what the Holy Spirit is saying, now you go and find the next person to mask that trauma response and trauma trigger, and the cycle continues. Well, if you're avoidant, like many chosen people are, right, there's a great chance it's going to be anxious or avoidant, because you were rejected, because you were misunderstood, because you were left to figure things out on your own. But then it makes it difficult on how to be in a partnership. Well, with destiny seasons, with God ordained blessings, with stewardship, we must be able to be in partnerships, especially now. Especially now, because the calling is so grand. You can't do it by yourself. You've already reached a cap. This is why you're now encountering soul tribes. You're meeting random people, and the connection is like boom. It's like this. It's like people that you can already see how it ties in some kind of way to purpose and calling, making life easier for you. Maybe it's another chosen person, so reciprocity is there, understanding is there. Like it just works. It just works. In fact, there's no judgment, because they get you. So you might have a moment and they're looking at you just like, I already know what that is, because I do it too, right? It just works. It's aligned. People pleasing is very common when it comes to chosen ones. Well, let me be clear. Unhealed chosen ones. Because something happens when the unhealed chosen one, the unhealed empath, once they go through enough, and then sometimes it can just be a natural, intentional process. But then sometimes things just happen in the spiritual realm, where you just go from, you play in my face one time. As a matter of fact, play in my face 1/2 of a time, and I'm cutting you off for life. There's something happen. A shift eventually happens, and you get to that point where you realize that you know what you carry. You know the value that you add to others' lives. You know what you bring to the table. You know that you understand reciprocity. You know that you understand the importance of respect and honor when it comes down to rare, valuable people. You understand how heavy it is to carry and steward God ordained assignments and blessings. You don't even have time for that foolishness. So when you go from, see, God can't bless us when we're the unhealed chosen ones. And again, hear me, please. Like, most chosen people will be at some point. So when you find chosen people who are speaking with authority and who are demanding respect, trust me, they have put some work in, because most chosen people, most empaths have been through so much hardships, so much hurt, pain, torture, abandonments, rejections, and the list can go on, that it broke them. It made them people pleasers. It made them have low self-esteem and low confidence, especially if you dealt with narc abuse, and the list goes on. But God knows that's not your fault. But at the same time, he can't bless us and trust us with certain levels until he heals us. So this is why we hit this pause before major breakthroughs, because he has to prepare you. He has to heal you, and he has to prepare you in order to be able to steward those things. Because stewardship is different on every level. Like he can advance us with some things, but it's going to be minor things. And then what he'll do is he'll teach you along the way. He'll allow the Holy Spirit to teach you, or he'll send just other people to teach you, right? That's the problem. Most people don't want to be taught. Most people, especially traumatized people, feel like someone bringing something to your attention. Well, iron sharpening iron. Iron sharpening iron feels like judgment. I'll be the first to say that. I mean, I know better now. But iron sharpening iron, when God sent people to help you to grow, to challenge your character in certain areas, and it's not that the people are judging you. They just know that before you go to the next level, you can't do at the next level what you do on this level. Because if God can't trust you, you're not going anywhere. So he'll give you advancement, and then he'll watch you. And if you're surrendered enough to allow the convictions to guide and teach you, over time, boom, new level, and so on and so on and so on and so on. But why do most people keep recycling the same level of poverty, the same level of pain, and we're stuck and stagnant and can't grow any higher? Let it be spiritually, let it be emotionally, and so on and so on and so on and so on. It's not easy. It's very, very difficult. Those of you who are in this current college spiritual course that many of us are in before this next major shift, you know how difficult you listen. At prior seasons, it's like we can kind of like skim by or kind of like get away with certain things. Honey, not in this season. You're going to take that test over 30,000 times before that door opens. Oh, you're going to master this thing. You're going to master discipline. You're going to master your mouth. You're going to master stewardship. You're going to master that flesh. You're going to master. Honey, you ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. And then there's many of us, my chosen brothers and sisters, who've been putting that work in. And you're now starting to see things. Let me just, listen, it can be, I don't want to say scary. I guess it can be scary if you never experienced it before, but because we've climbed some levels. Don't get it twisted. We got a lot of more levels to climb, honey. Right? But we know what alignment feels like. But it can be scary if you never experienced it, because it's almost like everything you speak, it appears. It's like favor finds you. Like people are attracted to you all of a sudden. People want to pour into you. They want to invest in you. It's something all over you. Everything that you yourself tried to do with your hands, meaning make it happen, beating the door down, trying to make people see you, or whatever it is that you were trying to do, when you finally surrender and let God move on God's time, those very things that you were trying to beat the door about, they're going to literally find you. You're going to have options. So here you are trying to, I don't know, beat a door down for a record contract. I don't know, maybe you're a singer or artist or whatever. You're trying to beat this door down. I mean, all doors are getting shut in your face. Because no matter what we think we want, what we think we're ready for, if it's God ordained, that door will not open until we put the work in till we fully surrender and then let God work and move on his time. When that door opens, you're not going to have 5 options to choose from because they're going to all want you. But because you've been through so much training, you don't even move on flesh. You tell all 5, like, wow, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, but, please give me time to, and you know how to get back to that secret place to really, My friends who are in the dark season, again, I'm not speaking about those of you who are in the current season of wrath, of God's wrath. Again, truly, even with that season, it truly is just going to really be about you surrendering. Like what God is doing in that season of wrath, he's breaking your pride. So as long as you still got that pride up, you're going to sit. You're going to sit. He's breaking that pride. He's breaking those character flaws, all that stuff, right? So again, I'm not speaking to that group. I'm speaking about those of you truly, you feel like following God have been like a mistake or something, like following God's voice and trying to really do things the right way. It backfired. It feels like that. And that's not what it is. It's not what it is. Once you answer that call, once you start following that voice, the very first thing probably he's going to do is throw you in isolation. And that isolation may look like job loss, people, divorce, just whatever. Whatever it takes to get you in isolation. I mean, it's just you and God. So everything that you think is a punishment is truly part of the process. After that isolation period, again, the more you fight against it, because he's going to convict you. Because once he isolates you, you're going to trauma and flesh and survivor mode is going to, because you don't feel safe, you're going to try to go back and get everything he removed. He removed the narcissist. The person was hurting you and harming you. But because it's trauma fueled and because peace is not your portion yet, you try to go back and get the very things that are hurting you, but he's going to burn those bridges. He's going to let everything reject you in order to keep you stationary in isolation mode. You're going to fight like a wildcat, but you will eventually tire yourself out. You will fall on a boxer mat like a boxer who got knocked out. That's exactly where he wants you. Because once you get there and you're fully surrendered, there's nothing you can do. And now you're finally saying, okay, what do you want? Just help me. Just tell me what is going on. And then he's like, ding, 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 ding. I'm trying to give you a great life. It's not your fault you had crazy parents. So I want to give you've never experienced a beautiful marriage. You've never even seen it. So I want to give that to you. I want to give you your own family. I want to give you the job. I want to give you the ministry. I want to give you your heart desires. Whatever you want, I want to give it to you because you deserve it. But I can't give it to you all traumatized. Make it make sense. How am I going to give you God-ordained blessings that are peaceful to a traumatized person? You're going to traumatize my blessings. That doesn't make sense. So I have to heal you. So now after this isolation, you finally tire yourself out. However long you kick and scream, you're going to stay there. If it's months, cool. If it's years, cool. You're going to stay there until you get tired. Now, boom. Now you enter your transformation season. You now being transferred for the blessings. So now you become the peace. So you're going to attract peace. He now instills purpose, calling, confidence, all that stuff, because he expelled all the other stuff out, your traumas and all that other stuff. So he builds you up. So now you got confidence, you got self-esteem. You're no longer a people pleaser. You will cut folks off who play with you the first time, right? All that stuff. He's transforming you. And now your next season is due season. Because now you can handle the blessings. And then remember, there's levels in due seasons, right? He's just not gonna put you in due season and thrust you to level 40 in due season, right? I don't even know how many levels there can, well, we'll never know. But the point is you're in due season, but you're at level 1 in due season. He's watching you like a hawk. Because the first time you slip, he's throwing you back to train. He's throwing you back to transformation, not as punishment, but again, to teach you. Because at some point, you'll get to a level in due season where the things you steward, you're going to be responsible for people. You're going to be responsible for souls. You're going to be responsible to steward whatever your purpose and your calling is, like at larger scales. So you're still going through training even in due season. But many chosen people right now who've been putting that work in these last several seasons, you're now at a place where that next open door is going to be grand because you pass many of the tests on the lower level scales in due season. Again, I mean, we still got a long way to go. But the point is, it's going to be a great acceleration shift. But a lot of people ain't going to make it because if we're honest, it's hard as hell. No need to even sugarcoat it. It is hard as hell. I don't care I don't care how people are smiling. I don't care how many levels they've climbed. These people have been through hell and back. You just don't know about it. Or maybe you do if they've shared it. But I'm telling you now, the few levels that I've climbed, I can be honest to say that truly, each time that I think about a shift, it happened, boom, overnight during dark seasons. But it requires staying power. It required gruffness. It required that even if you got knocked down, the enemy knocked you down, honey, you might be on that floor for 3 days knocked down, but something in your mind give you a determination that even if you take one step and fall back down, you're going to get back up. You get up, you take that one step, you might get hit again. Boom, you're down again. But the point is your mindset got to be so determined and so gruff. Like, I don't care if I get knocked down 1,000 times. I'm going to keep getting back up. And then before you know it, when you least expect it, boom, the door opens. And the crazy part about it is it will find you. You may be given some kind of instruction, like go do this, go to this place, say this, don't say that. You'll be given some kind of instruction, but the open door will literally find you. And then you just keep going from level to level, glory to glory. But you'll never get there if you give up. You guys have a great one. It's your girl.